Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. William James, renowned and honored psychologist and philosopher, called it wonder sickness. Man's restless, unceasing research into the arcane mysteries of psychic experience. He thought it soft-headed and idiotically credulous. Well, he may have been right, but the world has never wholly submitted to his judgment, and the search goes on. Our mystery drama, The Ruby Lamp, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Elspeth Eric and stars Mandel Kramer. Mr. William James may have pooh-poohed psychical research, as indeed he did, but in his famous book, The Varieties of Religious Experience, he wrote this: "The whole drift of my education persuades me that the world of our present consciousness is only one out of many worlds of consciousness that exist." Listen now to the story called The Ruby Lamp.
Good dinner, Edith.
Glad you liked it.
Anything for dessert?
Apple pie, if you want it.
Did I ever pass up your apple pie?
I didn't make it, Paul. I bought it.
Oh. Well, in that case...
I just wasn't up to any baking.
Are you depressed again?
I guess you could call it that.
Well, what would you call it?
I don't know. Let's not talk about it, okay, Paul?
No. No, it's not okay.
Well, so it's not okay. I'm going to clear the table. If that's all right with you?
It is not all right with me.
Oh, well, pardon me.
I want to know why you're depressed. I'm your husband. We live together in the same house. You think it's any fun for me to watch you dragging around like this?
No, I don't suppose it is much fun. It's not much fun for me either.
Then tell me about it. I have a right to know.
You already know.
I don't.
You do.
Edith, I swear to you...
We did all our talking a long time ago. There's nothing more to be said. It's all been said. It's finished, over, done with.
I give you my word, I don't know what you're talking about.
Then I will tell you once more and for the very last time. Where are they?
Oh.
Where did you put them? What have you done with them? Where are they?
Edith, I have told you...
I know what you've told me. I heard it all. And I still want to know, where are they? Show me where they are. Show me the spot. What have you done with them?
Edith, please.
I have a right to know, and you've got to tell me.
This is getting to be absurd.
Where are you going? Are you walking out again?
I'm going to make a phone call.
To whom? Who are you calling?
Nat Horner. If he's in, I'm going to stop over there.
I thought you wanted to talk to me.
Not about that.
Oh, I see. You'll talk to me about anything in the world except the one thing I want to know. The one thing I can't stop thinking about. The one thing I've got on my mind all day, all night. That you won't talk about. Is that it?
Keep quiet.
Is that it? Tell me.
I said keep quiet.
Hello?
Hello, Professor. Paul Morrison.
Oh, yes, Paul.
You going to be home this evening?
I'm always home.
Is it okay if I come over?
Well, certainly.
Play a little backgammon, maybe?
Delighted.
Be there in a few minutes.
Right.
Edith? Edith?
I'm in the kitchen.
Listen, I'm going over to Matt Horner's house.
Wait a minute. Just 1 minute.
We're going to play a little backgammon.
Before you go out that door, answer me one thing.
Edith.
Tell me where they are.
Edith, please.
Tell me.
I'll be home early.
Tell me where they are, what you did with them.
What difference does it make? They're dead. Both of them dead.
Aha, 6.
I think you're going to gammon me.
I think I'm going to backgammon you, my friend. You haven't borne off one man. You still have one on the bar.
I know. Well, here goes. 3 and 2. Well, that's not much help. Okay, your throw.
4.
All right, I give up.
You don't want to play it out?
I can't concentrate.
Something got you down?
Edith's been at me again to tell her about the children.
Oh.
What I did with their bodies.
Why don't you tell her?
Matt, they were born dead. Never even had a chance to breathe or to cry. Never lived at all. Wasn't anybody's fault. Just one of those accidents that happen. Uncommon, but it does happen. I mean, there's no way of foretelling it, no way to prevent it. It just happens.
Well, still, they were her children. Doesn't she have the right to know where they are? Where their bodies are?
Oh, Matt, you know Edith.
Well, not as well as you do.
Well, I know her very well. Been married 10 years.
You can be married for 50 years and still not know the woman you're married to?
Yeah. Well, if I told Edith what I did with those little bodies... They were both boys, by the way.
You told her that, I hope.
Yeah, she dragged that out of me.
Why not tell her, then, where they're buried?
Man, I had the bodies cremated.
Oh, I see.
I mean, I thought... I just had to put it out of our minds, dismiss it, forget it.
Forget 2 children?
2 children who never lived, Matt. 2 children we never knew.
Edith knew them, both times. You never did, but she did.
Yeah, well, maybe.
No, maybe. She did.
Look, let's talk about something else. You mind?
No, I don't mind. You want to play another game?
No, I can't concentrate, Matt. Tell me, what have you been doing with yourself lately?
Oh, not much. The old arthritis keeps me from doing much.
It's still bad, huh?
Well, I'm afraid I've got it for life. What's left of it. Still, I manage a little work in my rose garden.
Edith has a rose garden. She loves it. Sometimes I get jealous of it.
Uh-huh. And then, of course, there's my photography. That takes up most of my time.
How's it coming along?
Well, lately I've been doing some experimenting.
Oh? New techniques?
Oh, very new. Well, not completely original with me, but a largely untried field, and lately much neglected.
Well, you're going to tell me what it is, or are you just going to hint around indefinitely?
I'm not sure you'll be sympathetic.
Well, tell me, for Pete's sake. I'll listen to anything. I don't much feel like going home right now.
Well, in 1932, they performed the first experiment in Los Angeles.
What experiment? Experiment in what?
Thought photography.
What? You said...
I said thought photography. Photographing thoughts.
You're kidding me, aren't you, man?
I told you might not be sympathetic.
I told you I'd listen to anything, so tell me. About photographing thoughts. You mean you have a special thought camera? Thought film? What?
No camera at all. Only a package of sensitized photographic paper. And a ruby lamp.
Ruby lamp?
In the darkroom. A ruby lamp doesn't affect this particular sort of sensitized paper.
Well, what do you do with this particular paper if you don't have a camera?
You open a fresh package of the paper in the darkroom under a ruby lamp. Then you cut it into strips.
Sounds crazy.
Then each person in the room, the original experiment, there were 4 of them, distinguished scientific gentlemen, each person holds a strip of the sensitized paper close to his forehead. Not touching it, just close to it. Holds it by the edges and thinks of some particular thing. Holds it there for precisely 3 minutes. At the end of the 3 minutes, the strips are developed in fresh fixing baths and then processed.
And? Then what? What's the point?
In this particular experiment, photographic images appeared on the paper, identical to, or very similar, to the objects the men were thinking of. Their thoughts had been photographed.
That's crazy.
There were 2 more experiments within weeks. Same results. The Los Angeles papers carried an account of them, with pictures.
I still say it sounds crazy.
And the same experiments were conducted later in Japan and in France.
Same results?
The same.
It's crazy.
Care to try it?
Here?
In my darkroom.
Now?
If you have the time.
I have the time, all right. Why not?
Why not, indeed? Follow me. Seconds to go.
I still think this is crazy.
2 seconds.
I feel like a fool doing this. I mean, standing here with this...
All right. The bath is ready. Let's have the strip.
Yeah, take it. Glad to be rid of it. The whole thing is so absurd.
We'll soon see how absurd it is.
You want to know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about Edith. Of course, that's perfectly logical. I just had a row with her, so naturally she'd be on my mind. I was dreading going back home and seeing her. But that didn't keep me from thinking about her.
Of course not. We're getting something. Yes. There's an image here, all right? Yes, look here. It's a woman. Look for yourself, Paul.
I can't believe it. It is a woman. You're right. The image of a woman.
Now do you believe? The thoughts can be photographed?
But, Matt, this isn't an image of Edith. This is a very young girl. Young girl with long blonde hair hanging down to her waist. And she's wearing a cape, a long plaid cape. It isn't Edith at all. It's nobody I've ever seen before. This girl's a stranger.
Orthodox scientists may shake their heads in disbelief at experiments like the one you've just listened to. But the mysteries of this world are still so obscure that the sternest, most rigid academician must succumb occasionally to wonder sickness. We'll return shortly for Act 2. Are we not all of us afflicted in some way with wonder sickness? A blind belief in our own immortality, a secret conviction that we can influence our fortunes, an inner faith that in some as yet undiscovered way, all things will work for the best. All illusion, perhaps, but without such wonder sickness, how could we go on living?
Professor, you home? It's Paul. Matt, it's Paul. I need to see you.
Coming.
It's urgent, Matt. I have something to tell you.
Oh, heavens, what a racket.
I'm sorry.
Come on in. Sorry it took me so long to answer the door, but my arthritis...
I didn't stop to think. I'm very sorry.
It's all right. Why, are you wrought up?
Yeah, I am.
Well, come on, sit down. I take it you're not here to play backgammon.
Hardly, Professor.
Well, sit down. Catch your breath.
Matt, I saw the girl.
You did?
Yes, the young girl in the photograph, or whatever you call it.
The image on the sensitized paper?
Yes, that one. I saw the girl. And she was wearing the plaid cape. She had long blonde hair parted in the middle. It was the same girl. I recognized her right away from that image. It's incredible.
Who is she?
I don't know who she is. I never saw her before.
Well, didn't you try to find out?
Of course I did. I followed her all the way to the bus stop. And I waited with her. When she got on the bus, I got on. I rode with her all the way to where she got off, Elmwood Avenue, and I got off when she did, and I followed her all the way to her house, and I watched her go inside. Look, here, look. Wait, here. I wrote down the address, you see? Here, 210 Elmwood.
Wait a minute. Didn't you speak to her?
Speak to her?
You mean you followed her down the street, got on the bus with her, got off the bus with her, trailed her to her house, and waited while she went in, and you did all that and never spoke to her?
Well, should I have?
Well, mere curiosity, one would think.
Well, what would I have said to her? I mean, that I held a piece of sensitized photographic paper close to my forehead for 3 minutes, and when it was put in a fixing bath, there was her image? I mean, do you think I could say that to a complete stranger? She should have called a cop. It'd have put me away.
You're absolutely sure that you've never seen this girl before?
Absolutely.
Well, you may have passed her on the street.
Well, I never paid any attention if I did.
Well, there's such a thing as deja vu, you know. Meaning already seen.
Yes, I know. Something in the past. Something seen in the past that suddenly recurs.
Or some detail recurs and makes it seem as though the whole experience were happening again.
Matt, I swear to you, I never saw this girl before. Now, on the bus, I had a good look at her face. I never saw her before in my life. Never spoke to her. Never had anything to do with her. Why did she turn up on that strip of paper?
I have to tell you, Paul, I don't know.
It was Edith I was thinking of. I was thinking about my wife. Not some strange young girl that I had no interest in.
Fascinating.
Well, to you, maybe. Not to me. I've had enough of your experiments.
Oh? I wonder if you have.
I have, believe me. Now I better get home. Edith will be expecting me. I'm already late, but I just had to stop off and tell you.
Are you going to tell Edith?
About what?
About the young girl.
Good Lord, no. I haven't even told her about the experiment.
Why not?
How could I? How can I? She'd want me to explain it. And I can't explain what I don't even understand myself. Edith, I'm home. Sorry I'm late. Edith? Where are you?
In here.
Oh. I stopped off to see Matt Horner.
Oh. Well, how is the professor?
He's fine.
Oh, that's good.
Edith, you all right?
I'm fine.
Are you sure?
Well, isn't that what everybody says when you ask them, how are you? They say, I'm fine. How are you? And you say, I'm fine. And that's that. Oh, I forgot to ask you. How are you?
I'm all right.
Well, at least you didn't say fine.
Edith, it's you I'm worried about.
But I'm fine. Fine. Perfectly fine.
Honey, have you been drinking?
Not much.
Because you hardly ever drink at all.
It doesn't seem to do much for me. I don't know what it does for people who do drink, but whatever it does, it doesn't do it for me.
Edith, is it still the same thing?
What thing?
About the babies?
Oh, that.
I mean, you know I haven't told you because I think it's better if you don't know.
You're probably right.
Glad you understand that, honey.
I didn't say I understood it.
Well, you have to trust me.
Yes, I have to trust you. I can see that.
Where are you going?
I'm going to go for a walk, clear my head.
Well, honey, if I thought it would make you feel better, I would tell you. But I don't think so. I think it would just make you feel worse. Honey, believe me, I have given this a lot of thought.
I won't be gone long. You can get your own dinner, can't you? Or you want to wait?
What's that thing you've got on?
What thing?
That cape.
Oh, this old thing. I've had it for years and years. You know how I am. I never throw anything out.
It's plaid, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I got it out of the closet in the attic. Thought I'd wear it for change. Heavens. I bought this when I was in college. Now, about dinner.
Edith, when you were in college, did you have long hair?
What? Did I have long hair?
And was it blonde?
What's the matter with you?
Please tell me, when you were in college, did you have long hair and was it blonde? And did you part it in the middle?
How could you know that?
Edith, tell me, please, tell me.
I didn't even know you in college. You were 3 years ahead of me.
Tell me, it's important to me. Tell me.
Are you sure you haven't been drinking, tossed off a few with Matt Horner?
Edith, tell me.
Well, okay. Yes, in college I had long blonde hair, and I parted it in the middle. Satisfied? Now, I'm going for a walk.
Matt, open the door. It's Paul Morrison.
Yes, Paul, yes.
I need to talk to you, Matt. Right now. You hear me?
I hear. Oh, come in, Paul. Come in. Oh, what's the trouble?
I'm not keeping you from anything, am I?
Nothing that won't wait. Sit down. Want a drink?
Oh, good Lord, no.
Coffee? Tea?
No, nothing. Matt, when I left you, I went home, and Edith was there. She was sitting in the living room. She was not doing anything. She was just sitting there with a bottle of wine on the table beside her. Matt, I don't think Edith takes 6 drinks a year.
Was she drunk?
No, she wasn't drunk. I'm positive she wasn't drunk or anywhere near it. At first, I thought maybe she was because she just seemed so strange.
Strange? In what way?
Well, she was very calm. Very, very calm.
Well, that doesn't sound alarming.
I know, but it was a weird kind of calm. It was just not natural, you know? Not natural for her, anyway. Now, I asked her, was she drinking because of the babies, me not telling her what I'd done with their bodies. Matt, she was even calm about that. The one thing she has never been calm about. And just about the only thing that we've had fights about. But this time, she said, in that deadly calm way, she could see that my way was the best way, that she trusted me, and so on and so forth. And then she said that she was going for a walk.
I don't quite see what you're so alarmed about, Paul.
Just wait. She went out in the hall, where the coat closet is.
Yeah?
And when she came back into the living room to ask me, could I get my own dinner, Matt, she was wearing a cape.
Oh?
A plaid cape, Matt. Like the one in the thought photograph. A plaid cape like the girl I saw on the street was wearing.
Well, lots of women wear capes.
She said she hadn't worn it for years. That she bought it when she was in college and she'd stored it up in the attic. She just brought it down from the attic and decided to wear it for a change.
Well, some women do save things. Pack rats, I think they call themselves.
Matt, I had never seen that cape before in my life.
Not when you were both in college?
I never knew Edith when I was in college. I was a senior. She was a freshman. Look, I know what you're going to say, that I could have seen her around the campus. So I swear to you, we never met or spoke to each other or knew each other's names or anything. Still, I may have seen her on campus, and maybe it registered somewhere in the back of my mind, though where, I couldn't tell you. The same as the young girl on the street. I mean, I may have passed her, and the cape registered somehow, and that's what made it come out in the thought photograph.
Because it reminded you of Edith. Edith in college.
A second cape I didn't remember? Reminding me of a first cape I didn't remember? Are such things possible?
Yes, they are. Now, if I were you...
Oh, wait, there's more. I asked Edith if she'd ever had long blonde hair parted in the middle. Her hair's brown, she keeps it short. And she said yes. That in college it was long and blonde and parted in the middle. But, Matt, I never saw her like that, never. Unless what you just said. I did see her, even if I didn't pay any attention, and the thought photograph was... Would you call it, already seen?
Deja vu.
Yeah, deja, whatever. Already seen. Well, you can imagine how I felt. The thought photograph, the girl on the street that I followed, and then seeing Edith in the same plaid cape, and having her tell me that she used to have long blonde hair parted in the middle when she was in college.
About the age of the girl on the street, huh?
That, it can't all be coincidence.
No, I don't think it can.
I had to drag it out of her. The cape and the hair and all that. I mean, she started to think that I'd been drinking. And you know that I hadn't been. I mean, I was here with you. Not that I think she cared very much whether I had or hadn't. She just pulled her cape around her and went out. And I came running over here praying that you'd be home. Like the good Lord, here you are.
Paul, when Edith comes back, may I make a suggestion? You don't have to follow it, of course.
What is it?
Well, ask her if she'll come over here and make the same experiment you did in the dark room. The ruby lamp, the sensitized paper, everything just as before.
Oh, I don't know, Matt. I don't know that Edith would want to lend herself to a thing like that.
It didn't hurt you, did it? Quite the contrary. And if Edith hesitates about it, tell her I'll make the same experiment myself, with her, at the same time.
Edith? Edith? You back home? I just went over to see Matt Horner for a few minutes. Edith? Edith, are you upstairs? Edith, where are you? Hey, now, better simmer down. She's just not back yet, that's all. She went for a walk. Told you she was going for a walk, so it's not so surprising that she isn't back yet. Just calm down. Go make yourself some dinner. That's what she said to do anyway. Just wishing I was hungry, that's all. Well, Maybe there's some ham in the refrigerator. Edith! Edith, what is it, honey? Wake up. Wake up, honey. It's Paul. Come on, baby. Good Lord. It's all right, sweetheart. It's going to be all right. You're just exhausted or something, but it'll be all right. Believe me.
Hello?
Oh, Matt, it's Paul. Listen, I just got home, and Edith is sort of slumped in a chair here in the kitchen. She isn't moving, and I can't wake her up.
She been drinking anything?
Oh, I never thought of... Yes, there's an empty sherry bottle on the table and a glass.
Well, it seems to me she's simply passed out. If you want to, you can call the doctor, but I don't think you need to.
No, you're right. You're probably right. Matt, could you come over here? Not so much because of Edith, but because of me. So much has happened. So much I don't understand.
Has happened. A strip of sensitized paper held close to a man's forehead. An image of a girl with long blonde hair wearing a plaid cape appears on it. The man's wife resurrects a plaid cape from the attic and reveals that she once had long blonde hair. Now she has been discovered slumped over in a kitchen chair unconscious. Yes, so much has happened, and much more will happen when we return with the concluding act of The Ruby Lamp. A very young child exploring the mysteries of the world around him, into which he has so precipitously been flung, is one of the great joys in life. The curiosity, the concentration, the thrill of discovery, and over it all, the sheer wonder that there is so much to see, hear, smell, touch, and taste. Perhaps this is the beginning of the wonder sickness that clings to us throughout life. And who would want to live without the capacity to experience wonder?
Edith? Darling? Honey, open your eyes. Can you do that? It's me. It's Paul.
Paul?
Yes, darling. It's Paul. Are you all right?
Yes, I'm all right. I came home. You weren't here.
I know. I went over to see Matt Horner for a minute.
Well, I started to get dinner. And I thought... Well, I don't know what I thought. I was going to make chicken livers, I think. So I got out the cooking sherry
and you drank it.
I guess I did. Well, look at that. The bottle's empty.
You never could drink very much. You passed out.
I guess I did. Oh, imagine that.
That's what Matt said had happened.
Matt Horner?
Mm-hmm.
Was he here? Did he see me like this?
No. Darling, I phoned him. I was just so scared, I didn't know what... And so many strange things have been happening.
Nothing strange has been happening, unless you mean me getting drunk.
Oh, I didn't mean that.
Oh, somebody's at the door.
That's just Matt. Matt, come in. The door's open. We're in the kitchen.
Why is he here? He hardly ever goes anywhere.
I asked him to come over. I was so worried with everything that's been going on.
I really don't understand what you mean.
Well.
She's okay, Matt.
Hello, Professor Horner.
Hello, Edith. Glad to see you're all right.
Well, it seems I passed out.
Cooking sherry.
Oh, you got a headache?
Yes. Well, I guess I earned it.
Matt, I'm sorry I dragged you over here, but it's just that I was in such a state.
Why don't you make Edith a cup of tea, Paul? Would you like that, do you think?
I think so.
And maybe a slice of dry toast.
All right. It won't take me but a minute or two.
I really feel ashamed of myself, Professor Horner.
There's no need for that. How's your rose garden?
Oh, I haven't been paying too much attention to it lately. I haven't felt much like it. How's yours?
Well, my Zephyrine Drouin are coming along.
Oh, that's wonderful.
He'll be ready in a minute.
No hurry. We're talking about a rose garden. I don't know, Paul's been so jumpy the last day or so. He's been talking about the things that have been happening. Do you know what he means?
Yes, I do.
Things that have been happening that I don't know about?
Well, things I think you should know about.
Well, for goodness sake, tell me.
Edith, I've been making some photographic experiments. Photography's my hobby, you know.
Well, I thought your hobby was raising roses.
Well, that too. But my indoor hobby is photography. And recently I read about an experiment conducted a long time ago by some doctors in Los Angeles under test conditions. In a dark room, by the light of a ruby lamp, they held strips of fresh sensitized paper close to their foreheads for 3 minutes, simultaneously thinking of some specific thing. At the end of the 3 minutes, each of them announced what he had been concentrating on.
All right, I finally got it. Here you are, honey. Here's your tea. There's milk if you want it. I don't think we have any lemon.
Just put it down, Paul.
Okay.
Professor Horner was in the middle of telling me something interesting.
The experiment, Paul.
Oh. Gee, I don't know if you should, Matt.
Please. I want to hear it.
Well, when the strips of paper were developed and processed, they showed an image, or one very like, of the object each man had been thinking of.
Why don't you drink your tea, honey?
I will. Professor, go on. All this with no camera?
No camera at all. I must tell you that no one has ever found an adequate explanation for the phenomenon, though it's been successfully repeated elsewhere by other scientists. So, I thought I'd try it.
And did you?
Yes, I did. A few nights ago, with Paul.
Matt, do we have to go into all this?
Paul, please. Let him.
Paul came to my house for some backgammon.
I remember when he did that.
I talked him into undergoing the experiment in the darkroom. And what appeared on the strip of paper was the image of a young girl with long blonde hair parted in the middle, wearing a plaid cape.
My cape. Is that why you were asking about them?
That's why.
But you never saw me with long blonde hair wearing my plaid cape.
Well, he did see a young girl on the street. The same hair, same cape. And he took no more notice of her than he did of you in college. But both of you registered an image somewhere in the back of his mind. And the sensitized paper under the ruby lamp brought it out.
That's amazing.
So now you know. Now go ahead, drink your tea.
Edith, I want to ask you to do something.
Matt, leave her alone.
I want you to make the same experiment.
Matt, no, I won't hear of it.
Why not? Can't possibly do her any harm.
Not now, Matt. She's in no fit condition.
I think she is.
Well, I say she's not.
Well, let her decide, all right? Edith?
You say it can't hurt me?
Not possibly.
Then I'll do it.
Feeling all right, Edith?
I think so.
You ready to go into the dark room?
In a minute. Do you mind? I'm not used to all that sherry. My mind isn't too clear, and my head aches.
Take all the time you want.
Or you can call the whole thing off.
No, I don't want to do that. I'll just walk around the living room, if you don't mind, and get my nerves settled.
Whatever you like.
Oh... Is that your Zephyrine Drouin rose you were telling me about?
Yes, that's one of them. I have two more further back.
Lovely.
I'll take you outside and show them all to you later, after the experiment.
You don't have to go through with the experiment, Edith.
But I want to. I'm breeding a new rose. You know, Professor, I've been at it for several years now.
Oh, that's interesting.
The bloom is small and white and very fragrant.
You must show it to me sometime.
I'd love to. It's quite sweet. I'm about to register it with the American Rose magazine. When I'm sure it's perfect.
Have you given it a name?
I thought I'd call it Midlothian. Just because I loved the book so much when I was in school.
Midlothian. Oh, that's nice.
Well, I'm feeling much better.
Good. Good. Feeling well enough for the experiment?
I think so.
I'll tell you what, Edith. To reassure you completely, I'll take the experiment with you. You and I will hold the strips close to our foreheads, and Paul can hold the stopwatch. How's that?
3 seconds to go.
Feel all right, Edith?
Fine.
2 seconds.
You all right, Professor?
Never better.
All right, let's have them.
Here's mine.
And here's mine. I'm really quite excited. What were you thinking about, Professor?
My dog.
But you don't have a dog, do you?
Not anymore, but I used to. Good old Barney. He always slept at the foot of my bed.
What happened to him?
He died about 5 years ago, at the ripe old age of 18. Good old Barney. Died in his sleep.
Your strip is developing nicely, Matt. Want to take a look?
Of course I do.
Yeah, we all do.
Well, what do you know?
What? A dog. It really is. It's the image of a dog.
Good old Barney.
Now, what were you thinking of, Edith?
I can't tell you.
Well, you have to, or the experiment's no good.
Well, I can't. I'm not even sure myself what I was thinking of.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Well, I'm sorry.
Look, let's not squabble about it. Let's look at the paper.
All right, here it is. Look. Well, it looks like flowers.
Roses.
Oh, of course. You and Matt were talking about roses.
You saw my Zephyrin Drouin out of the window.
So naturally...
No, wait a minute. This isn't the Zephyrin Drouin.
Sure it is.
The Zephyrin Drouin has no thorns. The roses in the photo image have thorns.
Let me see. You're right. She's right, Paul.
These roses in the photo image are small, and I think they must be white. And they have thorns. These roses are mine, my new breed, my Midlothian.
Well, of course. You just told me about them.
I've neglected them lately, but they have been on my mind without my even knowing it. I wonder why.
I know why.
You know why?
You know.
Our 2 children, our boys, are buried beneath the Midlothian roses.
Right here? This is the spot?
They were cremated, Edith. For a long time, I had the urns kept at the crematorium. You know, till I could make up my mind what to do with them.
Oh, Paul, you could have talked to me about it.
I know. And I guess I should have, but you'd been through so much. 2 babies in 2 years, and never to have seen either of them. There were little silver plates on each of the urns. Both of them just said Baby Morrison and the date.
When did you decide to do this?
A few months ago. I got to thinking that they might be lonely. I don't suppose I thought they were lonely. I guess what I really thought is that we were lonely. Anyway, I was. And I wanted them near me. Near us.
Oh, Paul, you should have told me. We could have done it together.
I thought I ought to do it alone. Because you see, Edith, I didn't leave the ashes in the urns. I opened the urns, and I scattered the ashes around your rose bushes.
Darling, don't cry, please. Please, don't cry.
I haven't cried since that night, the night I put them here. I never want you to cry like that, Edith.
I've cried.
Of course you have. Of course you have. Forgive me.
But we should have cried together. Not separately.
I know now, but
I'm only 35. Don't you think we could... Couldn't we?
Of course we could. And we should, and we will.
Oh, Paul, you've taken a big load off my heart.
Edith? Paul?
Oh, it's Matt.
I wonder what he wants.
It must be important.
Paul? Edith? I want to ask you a favor.
Anything.
Anything at all, Professor.
May I stay with you for a day or two?
Of course you may.
Stay as long as you like.
No, just a day or two will be fine. You see, I had a fire in my house.
A fire?
Yes, in the middle of the night. Not a bad one. I woke up in time to put it out.
Well, that was lucky.
Yes, wasn't it? Usually I sleep like a log. But last night, something wakened me in the nick of time. It was the frantic barking of a dog. At the foot of my bed. Good old Barney.
Perhaps it's a human weakness to want everything explained, to have it made clear, made logical, sensible, to have it brought within our comprehension. Only then, the poor human feels, will he be rid of his heaviest burden, his anxiety. This is why the child is forever asking, why? Even when he is grown, even when he is elderly, even at the point where he is ready to die, probably he will still be asking, why? I'll be back shortly. How many whys are answered? I think very few. Yet man persists. The answers that he finds turn out to be, at best, only partial and lead only to more questions. Why doesn't he give up and simply take things as they are? I think it is that peculiar beast known as man, and he is afflicted with wonder sickness. Our cast included Mandel Kramer, Terry Keane, and John Beal. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown.
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
The Adventures of the Saint, starring Vincent Price. The Saint, based on characters created by Leslie Charteris and known to millions from books, magazines, and motion pictures. The Robin Hood of modern crime now comes transcribed to radio, starring Hollywood's brilliant and talented actor Vincent Price as the Saint.
Coming.
Mr. Templar.
Yes?
Let me in quickly.
All right.
My name is Claire Gordon.
Well, I can recommend that chair.
I don't have time, Mr. Templar. I want to confess.
Confess what?
Murder.
Huh. Well, maybe I'd better take the chair. You're quite serious?
Of course I am. Will anyone confess to murder merely as a joke?
It might depend on their sense of humor. However, whom did you murder?
My husband.
I see.
You don't believe me?
I've no reason to believe or disbelieve.
But I did kill him.
All right.
You ought to do something about it.
Mrs. Gordon, I can think of many reasons why a woman might want to kill her husband. In some instances, she actually does. But I can think of no reason why she should come to me and tell me about
Well,
it.
I had to confess to somebody.
You could have chosen the police.
Oh, they're so vulgar.
Murder is not a monopoly of the upper classes, nor is it in itself an especially refined activity.
You don't understand. Before I married Jim, I was Claire Wheelock.
Of the something or other Wheelocks, no doubt. Still,
I absolutely refused to go to some poky, dirty little police station.
Some of them are quite large, and I understand cleaned from time to time.
Tell some grubby little man all about my personal affairs.
Murder, according to the statutes, is a public affair.
I think you're nasty.
I'm only trying to be reasonable, after all.
I've heard you weren't always reasonable when beautiful women were concerned.
Oh, that's true only on Shrove Tuesday.
Oh, I despise you.
Wait, maybe today is Shrove... Oh, no, it's Sunday. Hey, she could be coming back to make an appointment for Shrove Tuesday. No.
You're Simon Templar?
I'm afraid I am. You seem to object.
Why was my wife here?
Your what?
Wife. And don't try telling me you didn't know she was married, you low individual.
I think you'd better tell me about myself inside, huh? Now then, you are...
James Gordon. And my wife was just here.
How do you know?
I saw her leave. Are you going to try denying it?
Well, not if you saw her just leave.
Oh, that's good. Now, if you don't mind, I'll take my coat off.
You're warm?
I'm about to beat your brains out, you know.
Watch your language. And why do you think your wife was here?
Pretty obvious, isn't it?
I don't know. After all, I never met your wife before. Furthermore, Mr. Gordon, you're dead.
Are you being whimsical?
I'm only trying not to make a liar out of your wife.
She told you she was a widow?
More or less. Actually, she came here to confess.
Are you trying to pull my leg?
I've always thought that a highly overrated indoor sport, except, of course, in the right company.
She came here to confess to what?
To murdering you.
To what?
Apparently her confession was premature. If, that is, you really are James Gordon.
Well, thanks for the premature. And of course I'm James Gordon. Who else would I be?
Shall I guess?
No. No, you can take a look at my wallet.
Oh, thank you. Driver's license. Blue Shield medical plan card, dated. Oddly enough, only a week ago.
What's odd about that?
Apparently you don't expect to die. You are James Gordon.
Well, thank you. Now, would you like to tell me why my wife was here?
She came to confess to your murder.
You know, Mr. Templar, I think I'm beginning to believe you.
Fine. Keep working at it.
Claire is eccentric. If you say she told you she'd murder me, well, she must have told you.
She did?
But why? I'm not dead.
Therefore, she didn't murder you.
Then why did she make such an idiotic confession?
Wishful thinking, perhaps.
No, just a
or
minute.
Or perhaps it was only anticipation. Oh, excuse me. Hello?
Mr. Templar.
Louis.
Louis. A half an hour ago you called for a cab. A half an hour ago I arrived. A half an hour ago I was still warm. I am now understudying an icicle.
Oh, Louis, I'm sorry. Come upstairs and thaw out. I've had company.
A blonde?
To start with.
What are you up to now?
Her husband.
I'll come up. I'll bring a large wrench, too.
That won't be necessary, Louis. Bye.
Mr. Templar, what you said just before, you mean perhaps she intends to murder me. But why should she want to?
She came to confess, not to confide in me.
I'd better run along. Get hold of Claire and Well, I'm sorry I bothered you, Mr. Templar.
Oh, it's all right.
Thanks for your patience.
Forget it.
Goodbye.
Bye. Well, so much... That's right, Sergeant. Man named Gordon, shot to death on my doorstep. No, Sergeant, I never shoot anyone on my doorstep. It's untidy. I don't know, Look, Sergeant, I have an idea. Why not drop in and see for yourself, Sergeant was quick. Come in.
Hi, Mr. Templar.
Oh, Louis, I forgot you were coming up. You warmer?
Yeah, a little bit, thanks. Friend of yours?
Who?
The gentleman who's laying down dead outside your door.
No, we'd barely met.
Oh, well, that's nice. You ready to leave now?
I'm afraid not. I have to wait for the police.
That's too bad. You know, the guy might be a conservative dresser, but I don't think he does credit to your doorstep.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. His name is James Gordon of the, Gordon.
Oh, well, that's different, yeah. Did he kill himself, or did somebody help him?
I don't think he killed himself, Louis.
Why?
Well, he'd just taken out a Blue Shield card.
Oh, planning for the future, huh?
Yes, it also means he expected to have a future. Louis, while we're waiting, would you look up James Gordon in the phone book?
Okay. But I could tell you now he won't answer the phone.
I want his address.
But he's moving. It's going to be the morgue.
But his wife will still be there.
Oh. Well, here it is. 12 Seven Oaks Drive. Yeah, it's a very high-class neighborhood.
A very high-class wife.
Maybe I ought to run home and put on my white tie.
Don't be silly, Louis. Under the circumstances, the tie should very definitely be black.
You know, those cops were very nice.
So they were.
In spite of what you asked them.
What do you mean?
You asked them if somebody confessed to murdering James Gordon.
So I did.
Yeah, so don't you think it's a little early for a confession?
Louis, you don't understand. You see, in this particular case, the confession was made before the murder.
Oh, well, that explains it. That explains nothing.
Louis, Mrs. Gordon visited me just before Mr. Gordon did.
Uh-huh.
No.
No?
No. What she did do was confess to murdering her husband.
Yeah, but he was still alive.
That's right.
Maybe she's got clairvoyance or something. Oh, 12 Seven Oaks Drive, Mr. Temple.
Good.
Yeah. Should I wait?
You'd better come with me.
Okay. Except but why?
Well, I have a feeling I'll need a witness.
Oh, so you really don't know Mrs. Gordon very well.
Well, if her confession was true, I don't want to know her at all.
But it couldn't have been, huh? Except maybe it was, huh?
Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
Sure. And that's a way nobody understands, too, me included.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Boy, is he half wrong.
Good evening. We should like to see Mrs. Gordon.
Come in, please. Whom shall I say is calling?
Who?
I beg your pardon.
Who shall I say is calling? Better grammar.
Listen, Bud, for what I dragged down here, whom is good enough.
Oh? Oh, the Gordons don't pay well?
If you are referring to recent history, the Gordons don't pay, period.
Oh, they're having financial difficulties, huh?
No, they ain't having no difficulties on account they ain't got no finances.
Explains the hospital plan, and you'd better slip your English accent on and announce us. I'm Simon Templar. This is Louis.
Yeah, hi.
Very good.
Since when is Brooklyn growing butlers?
Louis, the Gordons have been in trouble.
Mr. Gordon ain't. Not anymore. About Mrs. Gordon.
Mrs. Gordon will see you. This way.
Oh, thank you.
Not only will she see you, but you'll see her. Looking at it objective, you're getting the break. She is quite a dish.
Sir, you are speaking of the woman Mr. Gordon loves.
Who says? That's the door. She's on the other side.
Hey. You might open it for us.
What's the matter? You broke an arm or something?
If he ain't careful, they're going to send him back to Brooklyn.
Mrs. Gordon?
Yes?
Of course, it's been a little while since we last met, but...
Since we've what?
Met.
We haven't met.
We haven't...
If we had, surely I'd remember, Mr. Templar, I believe my butler said.
We met at my home within the last hour.
Well, I'm sure you have a very charming home, but I was never in it.
Well, I may be able to refresh your memory if you'll be patient with me. You came in order to confess.
Confess? What?
The murder of your husband.
Mr. Templar, if this is some kind of joke...
I'm not joking.
Then it's not in the best of taste. Aside from everything else, my husband happens to be alive and in splendid health. So you see, I couldn't very well have confessed to any such silly thing.
Mrs. Gordon.
Yes?
Your husband's health is no longer what it used to be. He's dead.
Dead? Jim?
Yes, Mrs. Gordon.
Oh, no. No.
Mr. Temple, she's going to faint.
Let her.
She did faint. Mr. Templar, King Arthur would never have let you sit down at his round table.
I couldn't afford to be chivalrous, Louis. I had to make sure her faint was genuine.
Oh, you thought she might be putting on an act?
Yes. However, from the way she fell...
Oh, it wasn't no act, huh?
No.
Could that mean that the rest of her story about never being in your apartment or confessing that that's also true?
Hardly.
Well, then maybe she's a twin.
No.
Oh, why not?
Too easy. Come on, help me put her on the couch.
Yeah. You think maybe she's
She's just plain nuts?
Perhaps. Or perhaps, and I quote a playwright of some insight, there's a method in her madness. Here she's coming, too. The butler can look after her. Come on along.
Okay.
Think you guys can find the front door?
Oh, yes, we brought our compass.
How was Mrs. Gordon?
She was fine. I don't think she's doing quite so well now. You might look in on her.
It'll be a pleasure. Good night.
Good night.
Well, that was a nice visit. Of course, our hostess happened to faint, but... Where are we going now? Maybe we could make somebody else faint.
No, your cab, first of all. And then...
Yeah?
We wait.
For what, Santa Claus? Mr. Templar, he was here recently.
Not Santa Claus, Louis. We're waiting for Mrs. Gordon to recover.
Oh, that's considerate of us.
Not really. It's nasty of us.
Oh, it is, huh? We're going to hate ourselves in the morning?
Well, that will depend on where Mrs. Gordon leads us tonight.
Well, she ain't in no hurry. We've been waiting 10 minutes already.
Now, give her time, Louis. She had to recover from a faint, make a phone call, dress for the street.
Yeah, maybe, but I get nervous.
You probably need a tonic. Had a call.
Yeah, it reminds me. I had a call up in the Bronx once.
Oh.
Sorry. A redhead comes out of the house 15 minutes after I start honking the horn. Has me drive her to Grand Central. I ask her why the delay. She says she was very busy murdering her husband, and I laugh like anything. But you know what?
She had murdered her husband.
That's the last time I'll tell you a story. I was supposed to say that.
I'm sorry. Hey, Louis.
Oh, yeah, down the block. Mrs. Gordon, huh?
Mrs. Gordon.
It's a nice car she got.
Yeah, give her a chance to get into it.
Oh, yeah, I always forget. Well, she's in now.
Yeah, wait a minute. Give her time, Louis. She has to straighten her hat, do her lips, put on her gloves, signal for a right turn, and then...
Yeah, and then pull away from the curb and then turn left.
Right. Come on, let's go, Louis.
All right. Hey, Mr. Templar. You think maybe she's leaving for parts unknown like that redhead?
I doubt it. It would amount to a second confession, and one that would be believed.
Yeah. For a woman who just fainted, she's driving plenty fast.
True. You see, Louis, no one dawdles in the shadow of the gallows.
Hey, she's pulling up in front of that park entrance.
We'd better stop here.
Out, huh?
Out.
She's heading into the park. We follow her, huh?
Yes. Strange.
Maybe she's just a nature lover, Mr. Templar.
At this hour of the night?
Well, as the law says you gotta love nature only in the daytime.
It isn't love which brings her here. Careful, Louis, she's stopping.
Yeah. Near the lake. Hey, there was a guy waiting for her.
There's no way we can get any closer. She might spot us on the path.
How about getting in amongst the trees?
That's an idea.
Yeah, except how good is it? They ran out of trees just here.
Not close enough to see him, but at least we've just met another figure in the case.
I'll stick to Mrs. Gordon's. That is, we can't see him. We haven't been introduced to him.
We have to do something about that.
Hey, Mrs. Gordon is scrambling.
Coming back along the path. We stay where we are.
Look, she's almost running.
Yes, probably on very good advice.
Huh?
She has to be on time for her appointment with the police. They might not approve of her having gone for a midnight stroll in the park on the night her husband died. Yeah, she's gone.
Yeah, but the guy is still there. We're interested in him now?
Very much interested. He'll have to come back this way. We can cut him off. Got to find out who he is. Hey, Louis. Got a handkerchief.
Why, you want I should blow my nose?
No. Do as I'm doing.
Oh, make like a masked bandit or something.
That's the general idea. Hurry, Louis.
Yeah. Okay. I do. I'm now a masked bandit, but I ain't happy.
Shh. I don't have a gun, but perhaps it'll work anyway.
Want the gun you don't have?
Yes, I'll double up my right hand in my coat pocket.
Here he comes.
Okay, stop right there, bud.
What?
Get behind him, Lefty.
I ain't left-handed. Oh, yeah. I'm behind him, Miggsy.
What is this? Stick up. What do you think it is? You can't do this. Sure we can. Or maybe you like to argue so much you would prefer being ventilated? Being what? Shot. Look, you don't have to shoot me. Hold over your lip and I'll enjoy it. Shut up. Hand over your poker. Hand over my what? Boy, are you ignorant. The money bag, mister, the wallet. Oh, here. Thanks. Now keep walking the way you were, see? And don't try looking around. I ain't got no objections at all to shooting the guy in the back. I won't look around. I won't.
Well, he's gone.
So he is.
Now, we ought to scram too, Mr. Templar. If he yells for cops...
I don't think he will. He might have to explain what he was doing in the park at this time of night.
He'd have an easier job than we would.
Let's see. His name is Timothy Kerrigan. Papers in his wallet. Member of the Bar Association. A lawyer, though.
Oh, fine. They'll probably sue us for nothing.
A lawyer? Most probably the lawyer for the Gordons.
Well, that would explain why Mrs. Gordon yelled for him, but why would they have to meet in the park?
I don't know, Louis, except that anywhere else they might have been seen together and overheard.
And that would be bad?
It might be murder.
Well, here's your house, Mr. Templar.
Yes, Louis.
Going to go to sleep?
Yeah, I imagine so. Nothing to be done tonight, so far as I know.
Yeah. Well, anyways, now we got 3 suspects instead of 2.
3?
Yeah, Mrs. Gordon, Kerrigan, and the butler.
The butler is never guilty, Louis. Hey, how about coming up for a drink?
What was that you said?
Come on, let's go.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Templar. About butlers. Maybe this one ain't guilty, but sometimes one could be, huh?
That's true, but the one we met tonight is too charming a character.
Yeah, don't look now, Mr. Templar.
Keep walking.
But your charming character is carrying around a young cannon.
Good evening. How's butling these nights, huh?
Go on. Inside the apartment.
With pleasure.
Now, hold it. Nobody move till I put the light on. Okay. All the way in. Now, sit down, both of you.
Courtesy?
No, you can't jump me easy sitting down.
Intelligence. We, sit. As for you, you're either an idiot or, in love?
It's the same thing.
I didn't come here to make conversation with you, Templar.
Why did you come?
To make sure you forgot about Mrs. Gordon's confession.
An idiot in love.
That's got nothing to do with you.
Suppose I refuse to forget Mrs. Gordon's confession.
You'll forget it, either by agreeing to or by being dead.
You want me to promise to say nothing of the confession to the police?
That's right.
Well, suppose I do promise, and then you leave, and then suppose I don't keep that promise.
No, why do you have to bring that up?
I come back.
And kill me then? What good would that do, Mrs. Gordon?
All right, if what you're getting is it that the only way I can be sure is by killing you, then...
How much was Mr. Gordon's life insured for?
$100,000. Wait, how'd you know?
There had to be a motive for his death. A motive that would place Mrs. Gordon in danger of being considered likely to have murdered her husband. The Gordons had no money. Insurance was the most probable motive in existence. Kerrigan handled the Gordons' finances?
Yeah.
Mrs. Gordon is in love with Kerrigan, isn't she?
No.
I think yes.
Who cares what you think?
All right. Let's find out how innocent Mrs. Gordon is. Look, pull the window shade down, Front window. Pull an armchair over to the window and sit in it.
Why?
You'll then be silhouetted prettily for the benefit of anyone outside in the street. The drawn shade will make it impossible for you to be identified exactly. Your build is much the same as mine. You will therefore appear to be me to anyone outside. You will also provide a perfect target.
To who?
To the only one who would have any reason for wishing me dead. The murderer of James Gordon. You love Mrs. Gordon. You're convinced she's innocent. She's been here before, and she'll be able to find her way back. Well, will you sit in that chair? 2 a.m. And by this time, the police would long have reached Mrs. Gordon. They're probably finished with their preliminary questioning. She could plead sleepiness. They'll have left the Gordon home, allowing 15 minutes to get here. She should be arriving at almost any moment.
Shut up.
Well, naturally, you're not worried. Perfect target, though you make.
Yeah, and besides, Mr. Templar, even if she does shoot him, he'll be killed by the woman he loves. What more could a guy want?
I told you to...
Yes, you were saying?
That car.
Yes, I heard it.
It doesn't have to be her.
But I'm sure it is. High heels. Well, Mr. Butler?
I'm getting out of here.
He dives very nice.
And in time. I wonder, with no ready-made target for her, what will Mrs. Gordon do? You better get in the next room, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Louis. Will you open the door?
Oh, I don't mind if you do. I wouldn't like to get shot on your doorstep. It's no way to appreciate your hospitality.
I get it. Hello, Mrs. Gordon.
Oh, you're not alone.
No, that's Louis, remember? But better remember inside,
All right. Send him away.
Oh, I promised him a drink. He hasn't had it yet. I can't send him away.
But what I have to tell you is confidential.
Louis is in my confidence.
Well, all right. It might turn out more convenient if you're difficult.
About what?
Forgetting that I was ever here before. Forgetting I came to you with a confession of murder.
Sorry, but I have a remarkably retentive memory. For example, I remember a girl I used to go to school
You'd
with.
better forget her for the moment.
Oh, I couldn't. I loved her very deeply.
How would you feel about $25,000?
Oh, I love them very deeply, too. They're being offered to me for a promise to forget?
Yes.
And if I don't keep it?
You'll sign a paper admitting your promise and acceptance of the money. That would make you an accessory. You wouldn't dare change your mind.
Hey, she's smarter than me.
He's still doing. Mrs. Gordon, you're young, you're beautiful, and $25,000 is very attractive. Nevertheless, I shall refuse all of you.
Even if...
Yes, I wondered how long it would be before you produced that. The revolver you killed your husband with?
I didn't.
You could convince me in a lot better way.
Can I convince you?
Oh, yes, your confession helps.
It does.
Of course. Your husband's death makes you richer by $100,000, doesn't it?
Yes.
Otherwise you had nothing.
Well, our investments, they were unfortunate.
Mr. Kerrigan handled them?
Yes, he's our lawyer.
So your husband handed over his money to Kerrigan. Did he also know he was handing over his wife as well?
What did you say?
I meant his life, of course, a natural slip of the tongue, you know.
You still haven't told me how my confession was going to help me.
I didn't say it would help you. I said it would help convince me you hadn't killed your husband.
Well, that's the same thing.
Not quite.
Mr. Templar, that was the back door.
Yeah, I know. I was saying, oh, yes. The fact that you didn't kill your husband is actually of minor importance in view of... Now would be a good time to borrow your gun. Louis, will you keep Mrs. Gordon company while I see what the boys in the back room are doing?
Yeah, all right, Mr. Templar.
It was Kerrigan.
Uh-huh. I thought it would be.
He didn't see me. Came into the room, headed for the door to the living room. He sneaked it open a bit when I...
Is he alive?
Yeah, I just got him in the shoulder. He was working in the back while she was...
Yeah, that's right. Hey, Louis.
What, Mr. Templar?
Will you phone the police? They've one wounded murderer to collect, one beautiful accessory before and after the fact.
Oh, no.
But of the highest class. Her butler will help her wait. More soda, Louis?
No. What are you trying to do, drown me?
Here you are, Louis.
Oh, thanks a lot. Oh. Hey, Mr. Templar, look. I know Kerrigan shot Mr. Gordon on account of he and Mrs. Gordon were like that. This is a new phrase.
It'll catch on, Louis, believe me.
Yeah, also because they needed the insurance, though, to live happy ever after on, being their high-class types. But why did Mrs. Gordon confess to you before her husband got killed?
Oh, it was an attempt to establish an alibi for herself, Louis. She expected that I'd immediately phone the police or else take her back to her home to view the corpse. In the meanwhile, Kerrigan would murder Gordon. And that would have left Mrs. Gordon in the clear.
Yeah, but you didn't do either of those things. Why?
I didn't believe her.
Oh.
She had really killed her husband and was willing to take whatever consequences there might be. Why come to me?
Uh-huh. So that loused up her alibi. Especially because her husband, instead of staying home and getting shot, had become suspicious of her and he trailed her here. Huh?
And was in turn trailed by Kerrigan, who saw a natty opportunity for double-crossing Mrs. Gordon and keeping the money for himself. He handled the Gordons' affairs and had the power of attorney.
Yeah, but look, Mrs. Gordon's faint when you told her about her husband's death, that was real. You pointed that out yourself.
Of course it was, Louis. But she didn't faint at the news of her husband's death as such. The reason she fainted was because she realized that she'd confessed to me and that her husband had been shot at a time for which she had no alibi.
Uh-huh. Well, now I'm almost smart. Now I can enjoy my drink. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Hey, that lovesick butler tells me he's going back to Brooklyn on account of life in the upper classes is too low for his tastes.
Poor fellow. He loved not wisely, but too well. On the other hand, what's wrong with Brooklyn?
You have been listening to another transcribed adventure of the Saint, the Robin Hood of modern crime. Now, here is our star, Vincent Price.
Ladies and gentlemen, in our cast you heard Joan Banks as Claire and Peter Leeds as her husband. Hy Averback was the butler and Jim Nusser, Kerrigan. Larry Dobkin plays Louis. This is Vincent Price inviting you to join us again next week at this same time for another exciting adventure of the Saint. Good night.
This adventure of the Saint was written by Louis Vittes. The Saint, based on characters created by Leslie Charteris, is a James L. Safier production and is directed by Helen Mack. Vincent Price is soon to be seen co-starring in RKO's production of His Kind of Woman. All you Saint fans will be glad to know that the Saint comic books are on sale at all newsstands. Your announcer, Don Stanley. 3 chimes mean good times on NBC. Well, it's Sunday again. That means another gala broadcast of NBC's Big Show. This evening, hostess Tallulah Bankhead has a whole flock of guest stars, including Marlene Dietrich. And when the 2 glamour gals, Tallulah and Marlene, get together, look out for flying sparks. For drama this Sunday evening, Theater Guild on the Air presents the 10th story, The Third Man, starring Joseph Cotton and Signy Hasso. Join Tallulah and her Big Show with Marlene Dietrich later on NBC.